Hello and welcome. A lot of immigrants come to New Zealand, work hard, save a lot of money, and then at some point decide that they want to buy a property. It could be an empty piece of land, or a new house, or an existing house. Now, coming to a new country, sometimes it's very challenging, and until you have lived in a country for more than 5 to 10 years, you may not know the ins and outs of the local property market. So, in this video, I want to talk about a document called a LIM report, or a Land Information Memoranda, LIM, Land Information Memoranda. Before you buy any property in New Zealand, you need to have this document. It's called a Land Information Memoranda. And a LIM report, as it's commonly known in the property market and construction industry, is simply a report prepared by your local council that has information, the latest information up to the date or the day that you're buying that report on the property that you intend to buy. Okay? So you need to have this information and go through it before you make a decision to buy that particular property. I've had cases of immigrants who have come to New Zealand, worked very hard, and they've bought properties without checking or acquiring a LIM report, and in the end, it has turned out that the property has issues which they were not able, which cost them more money in terms of repair, etc., to bring the property up to speed. Now, what information does a LIM report contain? Number one, it contains things like stormwater or sewage drains, any heritage protection information, special land features such as erosion or flooding, any rates owing on the land. In terms of council, guys, I'm just working through things as I talk to you. It may contain red, yellow, or white placards from rapid building assessments by council following an event such as storm water, such as flooding or earthquake or whatever, potential erosion and substance information or slippage, flooding of any type that may be on that particular property, special conditions, including if the property is within New Zealand historic places listings, and any other information that has been notified to council by other statutory organizations. Now, knowing so basically a LIM report gives you the history of that particular property and what has happened to it. And this one helps you make an informed decision whether you want to buy the property or not. Say, for instance, you might be looking at an empty section. You want to buy and build your house, 3-bedroom bungalow, 4-bedroom bungalow, whatever, or maisonette. And then you buy the LIM report from council. You gotta buy it from council, and it's very easy to buy one because you make this application online anyway. So you buy the LIM report, and it shows you that the site might look attractive. It's a very flat site, no slopes, good ground, etc. So from the looks of it, this will be a very straightforward build. Then you buy the LIM report, and you notice that on the LIM report there's actually a public drain line or a sewer public line passing under the site. Could be in the middle of the site, whatever, which means you're gonna have to build on top of the sewer, or that sewer line, or stormwater line, or you have to redivert that sewer line so that you don't build on top of it. Either of those options has construction consequences, which means it's gonna cost a lot more to build your house. whether you divert the sewer pipe or whether you build over it, is going to cost you more, as opposed to if there wasn't no sewer line under there. So the LIM report will reveal all this. And in revealing all this, then it tells you that when you're negotiating to buy that piece of land, you can tell the vendor that, hey, look, I'm aware that there's a pipe, a public drain pipe passing under this land. And when we come to construct, that is going to cost us a lot of money. So what do we need? So we need to renegotiate on the price. So you might purchase that section at a lower price. Now, other scenario is the LIM report can reveal whether this particular section is in a floodplain, right? So you check the LIM report and it will tell you which flood zone, whether it's in a flood zone or whether the section you're buying is flood to flooding and all those kind of things. Now, you might not be aware of this, but depending on the time that you'll be watching this video, whether it's today, this year, or next year, or 2 years from now, building in a flood zone in New Zealand comes with its own challenges. It's far more expensive when you're building in a flood zone than when you're building in a section that is not flooded. Why? Because council requires more mitigation measures, risk mitigation measures to be done when you're building in a flood zone as opposed to when you're building in a non-flood zone. And as we speak at the moment, council is under, at least in Auckland, as far as I'm aware, the Auckland Council is under considering changing the flood rules and building within flood risk areas. And so they're considering changing a plan change, they call it, around zoning in flood areas. So what's going to happen is that most likely, if you have a property that is in a flood zone, developing there is going to be more stringent. You're going to have to provide more justification. You're going to have to do more, employ more risk mitigation, more flood risk mitigation measures, which means flood reports, modeling, flood modeling, ecological assessments, etc., etc. All these things, all these extra things are going to add to your build cost. That is if your section or your property is in a flood hazard zone. If it's not, and you're looking at purchasing a new property or a house, just make sure that it's not in a flood zone, because the changes that are coming within the unitary plan, I suppose within the next few years or towards the end of the year, are going to impact you and your construction if you're in a flood zone. So this video is just to say that if you're considering buying a section or a property, please get what we call a LIM report, or a land information memoranda. This is a document that will tell you all the information about the property that you're buying, and that information then will help you make an informed decision about that property. Land information memoranda, very, very important property, a very, very important document if you are considering buying a property in New Zealand. I say this because a lot of us immigrants, we come here, we work so hard, then we go and buy properties, and we don't know what is lying underneath those properties. We don't know we don't care to check about the history of those properties. But if you are aware that you can get a land information memoranda, and that will tell you what you need, all the information that is held on council files about that property, and help you make an informed decision, and in the end, it's going to save you some money. If you like this video and this information, hit the like button, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video.